Now, before we get started, remember guys, I'm not a fitness guru. I make videos based on my experience, what I do and what I have done and what I have learned through my journey.
At least I got you to admit it.
You gotta be so good that they can't ignore you, especially the ones that ain't done shit for you. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. They stab you in the back and then they ask why you're bleeding. I don't trust words, I trust actions. I don't care what you heard, I'm not slacking.
My name's Alan Roberts. This is Every Damn Day Fitness. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Share my videos. Thank you very much, motherfuckers. Now, before we get to anything else, Heria, this could have had a completely different outcome, and I mean a completely different outcome, if you would have just, instead of getting really, really ass hurt, that somebody with more knowledge than you said that you were misleading your audience by claiming targeted fat loss, which I understand you say, go try to find where I say spot fat reduction. You don't, but you say targeted in many videos, and so does Thenx, not just you, but Thenx and you say targeted fat loss. Target this area, target that area, many places, and you know what that implies. That's a marketing thing that you guys started about a year ago for some reason. I can imagine why, but I'm not going to speculate. But to be real, your fan base does not know enough to understand that you're talking about fat everywhere when you say target your belly fat. Let's be honest. If you would just have said that and said, and by the way, I saw that you called out V-Shreds for copying Athlete X. This Austin Dunham kid is copying me word for word. You gonna do something about it? We might have been having completely different conversations, because while I did put Austin Dunham in a video, I was not aware that he had copied your shit. Like, I know he promoted the Jazzercise thing. I found that out afterwards too, and that's just fucking whatever. But the clip you showed where he copies you word for word, if you would have fucking put me onto that shit, me and you'd be having completely different conversations right now. Like, if you would have put me onto that shit and said, hey, thanks for correcting me, I appreciate you, motherfucker, because you obviously were a fan when I was ripping other people apart. You even put that in your comments. But to be real, if you would have done that, we'd be having completely different things, because very, very fucking honestly, that's some V-Shreds like shit, no doubt, done by Austin Dunham about your channel. Word for word, that's fucking bullshit. Now, let's get to this. Chris released a video last night talking about clout chasers. Mainly me. And I found the fucking video hilarious. It was very, very funny, because I love how twice in the video you talk about how you're not a fitness guru. You at the very beginning and towards the end, you talk about how you're not a fitness guru. You just are an athlete and you make music. And I really hope you're good at making music and all like that, because to be real, kid, you're one real bad shoulder injury away from, you know, not being in fitness, because very fucking frankly, you don't have the knowledge base, and you admit that. Now, while you admit that, I do find it fucking weird, like almost egotistical, like butthurt egotistical, that since you claim you are not a fitness guru, and now you're backing off and saying you don't have all the knowledge because you're just not a fitness guru, when people that do have the knowledge try to correct you or point out where you're misleading your audience possibly, you get very ass hurt and call them clout chasers. Dude, I'm an NASM trainer. Dash is an NASM master trainer from Swole Enormous. He talked about you. Fucking James from Shredded Sports Science is an actual fucking sports scientist. When people with more knowledge than you correct you, you should say fucking thank you and move the fuck on. Now, I will say this. You said in that video also that you were upset because I insulted your fans, and I think the most insulting thing I said about them is that they're very thin-shouldered. I called them lean and, you know, lean and thin, and which are things that your fans seem to fucking want to be, but I called them thin-shouldered, and if that's an insult to you guys, I'm very sorry. I meant it as an insult. Just to be real, that's what I fucking do. I'm not gonna fucking bullshit about it. I meant it to fucking trigger you motherfuckers. It did a good job. You guys are easily played, as Chris shows often. But here's how you know if a Thenx fan knows enough to know if you're bullshitting or not, okay? So we're gonna run a little test here. I'm gonna play this video clip twice. I'm gonna play this video clip one time with just me, with no talking, just Chris all the way through on one of his videos, and then I'm gonna add my shit to it, okay? Because here's how you know if you're being misled if you're a Thenx fan, okay? Because in reality, Chris does sound the part, but to anybody with real knowledge, well, I'll just play the clip.
Now with pull-ups, you really can't go wrong. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Pull-ups is a calisthenics fundamental compound movement that engages your back, your bicep, your core, lats, and delts. So as you can see, this is a major role when it comes to calisthenics training. Now, when you're training, you're basically doing one of two things, either pulling or pushing. And normally, pulling is a lot harder than it is for pushing. That is why you can never go wrong when training pulling. Increasing your pulling strength is gonna balance out your antagonist muscles, which is gonna give you an overall better strength, and it's also gonna help prevent further from injuries. That's normally why a lot of people get injured in the first place when they're training. For example, you can have a really strong frontal delt but a really weak rear delt, and as you try to progressively overload and put more and more weight, you might be able to handle it on the front of your delt, but your rear delt can't, and that's going to lead you to more injuries. So you always want to make sure to be training antagonist muscles, the opposing muscle group from the muscle groups that you normally engage. Pulling, pushing, they should be equally as strong, and that's going to give you your optimal maximum strength, resulting in heavier lifts and allowing you to progress further on to better and stronger skills without causing injury.
Now, if you're a Thenx fan out there and you're thinking, wow, Chris sounded really smart, I'm really going to beg you to go watch like Athlete X or Calisthenics Movement or another very intelligent, educated channel about these types of movements, about these types of things. I know you're not going to watch me because I'm the, in Chris's own words, the salty old bald guy that, pointed out that he was wrong, even though he won't admit he was wrong. Like, I understand he wants me to point out where he ever said spot fat reduction. Dude, you said targeted. You know you said targeted. Targeted implies spot. You know it does. It's just a misleading, it's misleading tactics that kind of makes it like you're like shaming your audience. And by the way, talk about shaming your audience. If you're calling me out of shape, what do you think about your audience, dude? Like for real, what do you possibly think about your audience? Like, to be real, Chris, here's how you know Chris knows I'm in good shape. He talked about the squat challenge, which, by the way, if you check the comments in the comment section on the squat video, the squat challenge video, I realized that was way the fuck out of his league. I realized it was. So I even said, how about one muscle up for 1405 squat? And even then I realized that was, still way the fuck out of his league. I realized that that's just not going to fucking happen because he doesn't train posterior chain at all. I mean, like, on his feet, Chris is very early intermediate. That's just true. That's not me insulting him. That's just true. On the bar, he's a fucking god. He really is. But that's just true that on his feet, he's kind of early intermediate. And that's not being mean. That's just kind of where I would assess him as an actual fitness coach and trainer. But I did put out another challenge to this kid that he completely ignored, and that is a calisthenics challenge of one single box jump that I love how he totally ignored, because then he had to have realized, shit, this old salty fat man, as he puts it, filming in his car, is a better athlete than I am on my feet. So I get that he doesn't want anybody to understand that, see that, or anything like that, because Chris has built up a persona around himself. And when most people do that, they are addicted to that persona. Like, he actually in this video says that we're addicted to, make the views for him. Dude, say whatever you want. You make videos, just get views, just like everybody else. If you want to call that clout chasing, you're clout chasing too. Trust on that shit. But in reality, if anybody's addicted to anything, it's you, to the fame, to the point where you not only cannot admit when you are wrong or possibly misleading a group of very impressionable young people, but that you strike out against people when they point out where you are wrong. Because let's be real, let's go back to this video and we'll go through it. At one point in time, Chris talks about, like, you're either pushing or pulling, right after he shows an impressive one-arm pull-up from the guy that's eventually going to be his replacement if he ever has a shoulder injury.
Pull-ups is a calisthenics fundamental compound movement that engages your back, your bicep, your core, lats, and delts. So as you can see, this is a major role when it comes to calisthenics training. Now, when you're training, you're basically doing one of two things, either pulling or pushing. And normally, pulling is a lot harder than it is for pushing.
Also has rotation in it, because it's not just pushing and pulling. There's rotation, and there's isometric contraction, which happens at the top of the one-arm pull-up. So he's spewing out stuff to sound smart, but instead he's not sounding very intelligent at all. He also talks about how you need to train your antagonist muscles, as if he's labeling an entire group of muscles as antagonists.
That is why you can never go wrong when training pulling. Increasing your pulling strength is going to balance out your antagonist muscles, which is going to give you an overall better strength, and it's also going to help prevent further from injury.
To be real, there's an agonist and antagonist. The agonist is when the muscle is shortening. It's so if you're doing a bicep curl, that is the agonist muscle, and your tricep is the antagonist. If you're straightening, if you're doing a tricep push down, your tricep becomes the agonist, and your bicep becomes the antagonist. Just the same, if you're pulling, your back is the agonist, and your chest is the antagonist. And if you're pushing, your chest is the agonist, and your back is the antagonist. He completely does not explain what would be considered personal trainer 101 shit. To anybody that knows anything about fitness, it sounded very word salad like. I mean, he just put together a bunch of words and threw them together to an audience that doesn't know better. And that's just kind of sad. That's why you keep getting called out by people like me, who know more than you, but don't have the following you do. And it's easy for you to just say we're clout chasing, even though you don't refute anything we actually say. You just make it, make fun of us, which is fine. You can make fun of me. I make fun of myself all the time, dude. I film in my car, absolutely. I like the acoustics. I'll just say that. You make fun of me being bald, dude. Okay, I love being bald. I get where you're coming from. I really, really do. You can't actually go after what I'm saying. You can't critique my, you can't rebut my argument. So therefore, you have to find some other way to look cool to your fans because you're addicted to that shit, kid. And it's totally understandable that you are addicted to it. Completely. I totally get it. You're a young kid. You have a lot of fame. You have the world by the balls. So when somebody like me comes across and points out where you were wrong, it is very, very easy for you to just try to dismiss it, which is what you should have done. But instead, you have to actually argue against it. Like, you don't actually have an argument against me saying that you claiming targeted fat loss is misleading to your audience. Now, I did call it spot reduction, but that's what you're implying. Let's be real. Again, that's what you're implying. But you don't have an argument about that. You really don't. I did think it was hilarious how at one point in time you misspoke and said, your body fat percentage, meaning your belly fat. No, it's your body fat percentage. That's all over the place. But I think you just misspoke. A lot of people were pointing out that in the comments, but I'm going to say you just misspoke, okay? Because I don't think you're that bad. But you're pointing out how, like, you have to do ab workouts in order to, have abs once you lose belly fat. And that shows a lack of knowledge of anatomy. It really does. Tal Physique doesn't do ab workouts at all. He doesn't do ab workouts at all. Almost 8-pack abs. That doesn't matter your physiology. Like, your abs, just so Thenx fans know, just so you guys know, your abs are under there no matter what. Like, if you never did a sit-up, they're under there. If you got down to a low enough body fat percentage, people would see them, no matter what. Now, can you make your abdominal muscles bigger? You absolutely can. Not that much, though, to be real. Not quite that much. They're not going to, it's not like your back or your biceps or something like that. They're not going to grow to a huge extent. They're really, really not. Like, Chris Heria is not probably building any more abs. He's not. He's not. He's maintaining, and that's good for him because he's got incredible fucking abs. Incredible. But to be real, just so you Thenx fans know, because this was also very misleading in this very fucking video, you have abs no matter what. It's just a matter of body fat percentage. Like, how built up they are is fine. But, like, very honestly, he was like, well, after you don't have body fat, you have to have abs so you can see it. No, dude, you have a six-pack no matter, if you have a six-pack anatomically, because some people actually don't. Some people just have like a 4-pack anatomically. And some people have like an 8-pack anatomically. If you anatomically have it, it's there no matter what. It's just covered in fat. That's just true. Now, I understand if people are like, well, you're nitpicking, but it's fitness. The actual, the truth is in the details when it comes to this shit. When you're dispensing fitness information, the truth is in the details. That's why if I don't know something, I actually ask an expert. Like whenever I talked about supplements, I talk to the supplement engineer, Robert. That's why I consult, James from Shredded Sports Science a lot, because he's a fucking sports scientist. That's why Chris Heria, that's why you and the Thenx crew, that's why you should consult people like Dash, an NASM master trainer from Swolenormous, that would give you the right information to say, so not only would you guys look fucking cool as shit doing all your bar shit and completely ignoring your posterior chains on the ground, but you guys would look cool as shit doing your bar shit, but you would also be dispensing the proper information to your 2.5 or 2.6 million subscribers. That's the issue. The issue is you don't know what you don't fucking know, and you just assume you can spout shit because most of your audience doesn't know it either. Now, I do look very forward to the comments that are going to be left below, even maybe some by Chris Heria, even though he did not refute a single thing that anybody said about him. Like, not a single thing. Like, it's like, I pulled this analogy before, and I can't believe I'm having to use this analogy again, because the last time I used this analogy, it was with Kenny KO. But it does not matter when you have a conversation with somebody that's going to act like they won no matter what. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. No matter how, intelligent your moves are, no matter how strategic your strategy is, no matter how well you place your moves, the pigeon is going to walk around the board strutting, shitting all over the place, acting like it won. And in this case, Chris, you're the fucking pigeon. And I didn't think I'd ever fucking say that about anybody else except for him. But for real, you didn't refute a thing. You're just acting like you won something when all you won was, to anybody that knows anything about fitness, they see that you didn't refute anything. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter. My name's Alan Roberts. This is Every Damn Day Fitness. Like and subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at Every Damn Day Fitness. Hit me up on Twitter at Every Day Fit. I'm also on Facebook at Every Damn Day Fitness. And I'm on the internet at everydamndayfitness.net. Now it's time to get back to some hiking and a good family vacation. God damn.